Imagine a life where nothing phases you, where the chaos of the world washes over you like water off a duck's back. A life where inner peace reigns supreme, no matter the external storms. This is the wisdom of Epictetus, a Stoic philosopher who taught us to live with resilience, tranquility, and unwavering strength. Today, we delve into his timeless teachings and discover how to cultivate a mindset that remains unshaken by life's challenges. Let's embark on this journey together into the heart of Stoicism and uncover the secrets to living a life of peace, purpose, and profound inner strength. Principle number 1, listening. Listening. Seems so simple, right? But if you think about it, really think, it's actually a powerful tool, especially in the context of Stoicism. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, had quite a lot to say about listening, and it's worth diving into his wisdom. Let's chat about it. Imagine you're in a bustling cafe. The clatter of dishes, the hum of conversations, the aroma of freshly brewed coffee. Amid all this, you're engrossed in a discussion with a friend. Now, here's the thing. Are you truly listening, or are you just hearing words? Epictetus would argue that most of us don't really listen. We might hear the sounds, catch the words, but listening, truly absorbing what's being said, is a rare skill. Why does this matter? Well, Epictetus believed that listening is fundamental to understanding not just others, but ourselves. When we listen, we open a gateway to empathy. It's not just about being polite or nodding at the right moments. It's about immersing ourselves in another's perspective. Think about the last time someone really listened to you. How did it feel? Probably pretty great, right? Like you mattered. That's the gift we give when we truly listen. Listening isn't just about conversations with others, though. It's also about tuning into the world around us and, more importantly, our inner world. Have you ever taken a moment to listen to your own thoughts without judgment? Epictetus taught that we should. He suggested that by listening to our thoughts, we can better understand our desires, fears, and motivations. This self-awareness is the cornerstone of Stoic practice. Let's break it down a bit. When we listen to our thoughts, we might notice patterns. Maybe we're often anxious about the future. Maybe we dwell on past mistakes. By recognizing these patterns, we can start to address them. Epictetus didn't say this would be easy, but he believed it was essential for personal growth. He emphasized the importance of being aware of our internal dialogue. It's like tuning a radio to the right frequency to get rid of the static and hear the music clearly. In our daily lives, distractions are everywhere. Our phones buzz, emails ping, social media screams for attention. In this chaos, listening becomes an act of rebellion. It's about reclaiming our focus and deciding what truly deserves our attention. Epictetus would encourage us to practice mindful listening. This means setting aside distractions and being present. Whether you're talking to a friend, listening to music, or just sitting in silence, be fully there. Another aspect of listening that Epictetus touched upon is the idea of listening to criticism. Ouch, right? No one likes to hear negative things about themselves. But Epictetus saw criticism as a valuable teacher. When we listen to feedback, especially the tough kind, we get a chance to grow. It's like a mirror showing us parts of ourselves we might not see otherwise. Instead of reacting defensively, Epictetus advised us to listen calmly and reflect. What can we learn from this? How can it make us better? Let's not forget about the importance of listening to nature. Epictetus often drew wisdom from the natural world. He believed that by observing and listening to nature, we can learn about the cycles of life, patience, and resilience. The rustle of leaves in the wind, the steady flow of a river, the silence of a snow-covered landscape, these are all lessons in calm and constancy. So, how do we cultivate this habit of listening? Start small. Take a few minutes each day to sit quietly and just listen. It could be the sounds around you or your own thoughts. When talking to someone, practice active listening. Make eye contact, nod, and give them your full attention. Notice how it feels to truly connect with another person. In the end, listening is about presence. It's about being there, fully, in each moment. It's about valuing others and ourselves enough to pay attention. Epictetus's teachings remind us that listening is a path to deeper understanding and peace. It's a way to live as if nothing bothers us, because when we listen, we become more aware, more empathetic, and ultimately, more at peace with ourselves and the world around us. Principle number 2, be prepared to fail, for it is the only way to progress. Imagine you're on a journey. You've got a destination in mind, but the path is a bit foggy, and you know there'll be bumps along the way. That's life, right? So, here's the deal. You're going to trip, you're going to stumble, and sometimes, you might even fall flat on your face. It's not about if you'll fail, it's about when. And when that happens, what do? Do you lay there and throw a pity party, or do you dust yourself off and keep going? The Stoics would say the latter. Think about a baby learning to walk. They don't just stand up one day and start running marathons. They take a step, they wobble, they fall, and then they giggle and try again. It's kind of adorable, but it's also profound. They're not afraid of falling, they just see it as part of the process. We could learn a lot from that. Now, let's take this to the adult world. You're working on a project at work, or maybe you're starting a new hobby, like painting or playing the guitar. You're pumped, full of enthusiasm. But then, wham! You hit a snag. Your project gets criticized, or your first painting looks like a toddler's masterpiece. It's easy to feel discouraged. But here's the kicker, those failures are stepping stones. Each misstep is a lesson, a chance to improve. Epictetus would remind us that our reaction to failure is within our control. He's all about that inner game. It's like he's whispering in our ear, hey, don't sweat it. This is how you get better. He'd tell us to welcome failure like an old friend, because it's through those experiences that we grow tougher and wiser. Let's get real for a second. Failure can suck. It can sting and bruise our ego. But think about your favorite success stories. How many of those people got it right on the first try? J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter was rejected by 12 publishers before it became a phenomenon. Thomas Edison had thousands of failed experiments before he got the light bulb to work. These stories aren't exceptions, they're the norm. The key is resilience. You've got to be like a rubber ball, no matter how hard you hit the ground, you bounce back. It's about mindset. When you expect failure as part of the journey, it loses its power to derail you. Instead, it becomes a motivator, a push to get back up and try again. Think about athletes. They don't just train to win, they train to handle losses. Every missed shot, every lost game is data. It tells them what to work on, where to focus. It's a cycle of constant improvement. And you know what? We're all athletes in the game of life. Every challenge, every setback, it's all part of our training. So, what does this look like in daily life? Start by setting small, achievable goals. When you stumble, take a moment to analyze what went wrong. Don't beat yourself up. Instead, see it as feedback. Adjust your approach and try again. Over time, you'll notice that those failures are happening less often, and when they do, you handle them with more grace. Another tip? Surround yourself with people who get it. People who understand that failure is part of the process and who will cheer you on as you get back up. Their support can make a world of difference. In the end, living as if nothing bothers you, as Epictetus suggests, isn't about being a robot or pretending everything's perfect. It's about understanding that failure is a natural, even essential, part of the journey. It's about embracing those moments, learning from them, and moving forward with a bit more wisdom and resilience each time. So, the next time you fail, smile. You're in good company. Every stumble is a step towards progress. And that's something to celebrate. Principle number 3, be aware of the dangers of fortune. You might be thinking, what's the big deal with fortune? Well, let's chat about it. Imagine you're on top of the world. Things are going your way, you've got the job, the house, the friends, and maybe even that shiny new car. It's easy to get caught up in the highs, right? But here's the kicker, fortune is fickle. One minute you're riding high, and the next, you could be plummeting down. Epictetus, that wise old Stoic, knew this all too well. He reminded us to be cautious of fortune's whims. Now, you might wonder, why should we be cautious? Isn't it great to enjoy the good times? Absolutely, enjoy them. Savor every moment. But, it's about not getting attached to them, not letting them define your happiness. Because, let's face it, fortunes change. They can flip faster than you can say Epictetus. Think of fortune as a wild horse. Sure, it can take you to incredible places, but if you're not holding the reins, it can also throw you off. The Stoics believed in preparing for the inevitable ups and downs. They weren't about gloom and doom, but about resilience. It's like having an umbrella on a sunny day. You don't expect rain, but you're ready if it comes. Remember that time when you got that promotion or aced an exam? The joy was real, right? But did you notice how quickly the excitement faded and was replaced by new worries or goals? That's fortune's trick. It gives, but it also takes. And when we place our happiness solely in its hands, we're setting ourselves up for a roller coaster ride. Let's make this personal. Picture a sailor out at sea. When the weather is calm, sailing is a breeze. But a wise sailor knows that storms are part of the journey. They don't curse the storm, they prepare for it. They secure the sails, steady the ship, and navigate through the rough waters. Epictetus wants us to be that sailor. Enjoy the calm, but be ready for the storm. Here's a little exercise. Think about something you're grateful for, maybe your job, or relationship, or your health. Now, imagine if it were taken away. How would you feel? If the thought shakes you to your core, it might be a sign that you're leaning a bit too heavily on that pillar of fortune. It's not about becoming indifferent, but about building inner strength. Being aware of fortune's dangers doesn't mean we can't enjoy the good stuff. On the contrary, it helps us appreciate it more. When we know that our circumstances can change, we learn to cherish the present without clinging to it desperately. We become like that sailor, enjoying the smooth sailing but always ready to face the waves. And here's another thing, understanding the fickleness of fortune can also make us more compassionate. When we see someone struggling, we remember that we're not immune to those same struggles. Fortune might favor us today, but tomorrow could be different. This awareness fosters empathy and connection, making us better humans. So, next time you're riding high on fortune's wave, take a moment to ground yourself. Enjoy the view, but don't let it fool you. Fortune is a part of life, but it's not the whole story. By keeping a steady mind and a prepared heart, we can navigate whatever comes our way with grace and resilience. In the end, Epictetus teaches us that true peace comes from within. It's about finding stability in our values and actions, not in the unpredictable whims of fortune. Live with awareness, cherish the moment, and always be ready to steer through the storm. After all, it's not about avoiding the waves but learning to surf them. Principle number 4, hope. You know, hope is one of those things that can really mess with your head if you let it. I mean, we've all been there, right? Sitting around, hoping for something to change, for things to get better, for that one opportunity to just fall into our laps. It's like waiting for a train that never seems to arrive. And guess what? Epictetus, that wise old Stoic, had some pretty strong thoughts on hope. Epictetus taught that hope can be a double-edged sword. On one hand, it can give us something to look forward to, a reason to get out of bed in the morning. But on the flip side, it can also lead to a lot of unnecessary anxiety and disappointment. Think about it, how many times have you hoped for something so badly, only to be let down when it didn't happen? It's like setting yourself up for a fall, time and time again. So, what's the Stoic approach to hope? It's all about focusing on what's within our control and letting go of what isn't. Easier said than done, I know. But imagine if you could train your mind to stop clinging to those hopeful thoughts about things you can't change. Imagine the freedom that would bring. Now, this doesn't mean you should just give up on everything and never aspire to anything. Not at all. Epictetus would argue that it's about shifting your perspective. Instead of hoping for a specific outcome, focus on doing your best with what you have. If you're hoping for a promotion at work, for instance, don't just sit around daydreaming about it. Put in the effort, improve your skills, and let go of the outcome. If it happens, great. If not, you've still grown as a person. Hope can also be tied to our expectations of others. How often do we hope that someone will change, that they'll finally see things our way? This kind of hope is particularly tricky because it puts our happiness in someone else's hands. And let's face it, people are unpredictable. Epictetus would say, don't pin your hopes on others. Focus on your own actions and responses instead. It's about being the best version of yourself, regardless of how others behave. One of the most powerful aspects of Stoicism is the idea of accepting things as they are. This doesn't mean you have to like everything that happens, but acknowledging reality can save you a lot of grief. When you hope for something different than what is, you're essentially at war with reality. And guess what? Reality always wins. By accepting things as they are, you can find peace and stability within yourself, no matter what's happening around you. Epictetus also emphasized the importance of living in the present moment. When we're constantly hoping for something in the future, we're missing out on what's happening right now. It's like watching a beautiful sunset but being too distracted by thoughts of tomorrow's weather to enjoy it. By focusing on the present, you can fully experience and appreciate life as it is, rather than how you hope it will be. In a way, letting go of hope is about trust, trusting that you'll be okay no matter what happens. It's about believing in your ability to handle whatever life throws your way. This kind of trust doesn't come easy, but with practice, it can become second nature. And when it does, you'll find that you don't need to hope for things to be different. You'll be content with what is, knowing that you have the strength and resilience to navigate whatever comes next. So, the next time you catch yourself caught up in a web of hopeful thoughts, take a step back. Remind yourself of what you can control and what you can't. Focus on the present moment and your own actions. Trust in yourself and let go of the rest. It might not be easy, but according to Epictetus, it's the key to living a life unbothered by the whims of fortune. Principle number 5, death. Death. It's that unavoidable guest that shows up at everyone's party eventually. But here's the thing, Epictetus, one of the big names in Stoicism, had a pretty chill attitude about it. And maybe, just maybe, we can learn something from that ancient philosopher dude. Epictetus didn't just sit around thinking about death in a morbid way. Nah, he viewed it as a natural part of life, like breathing or blinking. Think about it. We're all born, we live, and then, someday, we die. That's the deal. No exceptions. And while that might sound bleak, it's actually kind of freeing. Imagine living your life without the constant fear of the end. You'd probably enjoy the ride a lot more, right? So, let's dive into what Epictetus had to say about it. First off, he believed that death isn't something we should fear. It's just a transition, a part of the cycle. Like how seasons change, people come and go, or how we outgrow old habits. It's all just part of the natural order. And fighting against it? That's just wasted energy. Imagine you're holding a glass of your favorite drink. Maybe it's a rich, dark coffee, or a cold, crisp soda. You know that eventually, you're going to finish it. The glass will be empty. But do you spend your whole time sipping, worrying about that last drop? No way. You savor each sip, enjoying the flavor, the warmth or chill, the way it makes you feel. That's how Epictetus thought we should approach life. Live in the moment, savor the experience, because it's the journey that matters, not the inevitable end. Now, I know what you might be thinking, easier said than done. And you're right. It's not easy. Our brains are wired to avoid danger and to fear the unknown. Death is like the ultimate unknown, so of course, it's scary. But that's where Stoic practice comes in. It's like training your mind, just like you'd train your body at the gym. Epictetus suggested that we regularly remind ourselves of our mortality. Not in a creepy, gothic way, but as a gentle nudge to live more fully. When you know time is limited, you start focusing on what really matters. The petty stuff, the little dramas, the everyday annoyances, they start to fade into the background. You start to see the bigger picture. Picture this, you're stuck in traffic, and it's driving you nuts. Horns are blaring, people are cutting you off, and it feels like you're never going to get home. But then, you remember Epictetus. You think about how, in the grand scheme of things, this traffic jam is just a tiny blip. One day, you won't even remember it. Suddenly, it doesn't seem so bad. You turn up your favorite song, maybe even start singing along, and before you know it, you're at your destination. That's the power of a Stoic mindset. Another cool thing about Epictetus's take on death is that it helps us appreciate life more. When you're not constantly worrying about the end, you can focus on the now. You notice the little things, the way the sunlight filters through the trees, the sound of your friend's laughter, the taste of your favorite food. Life becomes richer, more vibrant. It's like switching from a black and white TV to full HD color. Epictetus also believed that understanding death helps us become braver. If you're not afraid of dying, what's left to fear? You can take risks, follow your dreams, stand up for what you believe in. You become unstoppable. It's like having a superpower. You realize that the worst-case scenario isn't the end of the world. It's just another step in the journey. So, how do we put this into practice? Start by reflecting on your own mortality. Not in a morbid way, but as a gentle reminder to live fully. Spend time with loved ones, do things that make you happy, take care of yourself. When fear creeps in, remind yourself that it's just a part of life, not the whole story. Epictetus's wisdom on death isn't about being fearless or reckless. It's about embracing life with all its ups and downs, knowing that it's the journey that counts. So, live as if nothing bothers you, because in the end, it's all just part of the beautiful, messy, incredible ride we call life. Principle number 6, wealth. When we think about wealth, it often conjures images of luxury cars, sprawling mansions, and those glittering diamond accessories you see in magazines. Epictetus, however, had a different take on wealth, one that's not about what's in your bank account but about what's in your heart and mind. You see, for Epictetus, wealth isn't about accumulating riches, it's about possessing the right mindset. Imagine strolling through life without the burden of constantly worrying about money. Sounds liberating, right? Let's break it down. Epictetus believed true wealth comes from within. It's about self-control, wisdom, and virtue. Those are the real treasures that no thief can steal, no market crash can devalue. Picture this, you're sitting in your favorite cafe, sipping on a hot cup of coffee. You look around and notice everyone glued to their phones, checking stock prices, worrying about the next big financial crisis. But not you. You're there, fully present, enjoying your coffee, feeling wealthy in the moment. That's the kind of wealth Epictetus was talking about. He'd probably tell you that real wealth is about having enough, being content with what you have, and not always chasing the next big thing. It's like having a closet full of clothes but always wearing the same comfy hoodie because it just feels right. You don't need more, you need to appreciate what's already there. Think of it as mental minimalism. Less clutter in your mind, more peace in your heart. Now, don't get me wrong. Epictetus wasn't against money. He knew that money could make life easier. It can buy comfort, security, and opportunities. But he was against the obsession with money, the idea that your self-worth is tied to your net worth. Imagine a person who has millions but is constantly anxious, always wanting more, never satisfied. That's not wealth, that's a prison made of gold bars. Epictetus would urge you to shift your focus. Instead of asking, "How much can I get?" ask, "How much do I really need?" It's a subtle change but a powerful one. It's about finding joy in simplicity. Maybe it's enjoying a walk in the park, a good book, or a heartfelt conversation with a friend. These moments, though simple, are incredibly enriching. Let's throw in a little story here. Imagine a man who lived in a small, humble house. He didn't have much, but he had a garden where he grew the most beautiful flowers. Every morning, he'd spend time tending to his garden, finding immense joy in watching the flowers bloom. To him, that garden was a source of endless wealth. It brought him peace, happiness, and a sense of fulfillment that no amount of money could buy. That's the essence of Epictetus' view on wealth. It's also about resilience. When you measure wealth by internal standards, external changes don't rock your boat as much. Lose a job? It's tough, but you're not defined by your job title. Unexpected expense? It's a challenge, but it doesn't shatter your world. You remain unbothered because your sense of wealth is rooted in something much deeper and more stable. In today's world, this might sound a bit idealistic. We're bombarded with messages telling us to buy more, do more, be more. But what if we took a step back? What if we redefined wealth as the ability to be content, to find peace in the present moment, to cultivate inner virtues? That's a kind of wealth that doesn't fluctuate with the market, doesn't vanish in a crisis. It's solid, enduring, and deeply satisfying. So next time you find yourself caught up in the hustle for more money, remember Epictetus. Think about what truly makes you feel rich. Is it the number on your paycheck or the quality of your experiences and relationships? By shifting your perspective, you might find that you're wealthier than you ever imagined, living a life where nothing bothers you. Principle number 7, humility. Hey, have you ever noticed how some folks just glide through life like nothing phases them? They seem to have this inner calm, this unshakable cool. Well, one of the secrets to that serenity is something we often overlook: humility. Now, I know humility might not sound like the most glamorous trait, but stick with me. Epictetus, one of the big brains of Stoicism, had a lot to say about it, and it might just change how you see the world. Imagine you're at a party. Everyone's mingling, trying to impress, showing off their latest accomplishments. In the corner, there's this one person, not trying to hog the spotlight. They're just genuinely interested in others, asking questions, listening more than they talk. That's humility in action. It's not about thinking less of yourself, it's about thinking of yourself less. Epictetus taught that humility is recognizing the limits of your control. Let's face it, we can't control everything: other people's actions, random events, or even our own future. But we can control our responses. A humble person gets this. They don't stress over the uncontrollable, they focus on their own actions and attitudes. And that's powerful. Have you ever met someone who's always bragging? It's exhausting, right? They're always trying to prove something, which usually means they're not too secure deep down. Humility flips that script. When you're humble, you don't need to prove anything to anyone. You're secure in who you are, flaws and all. This doesn't mean you're not confident. In fact, true humility often comes from a place of quiet confidence. You know your strengths, but you don't feel the need to flaunt them. Let's take a quick trip back to ancient Rome. Epictetus was a slave before he became a philosopher. Talk about a rough start. But even as a slave, he realized something crucial. While his physical freedom was out of his hands, his mind was his own. He learned to embrace humility, accepting his situation without letting it define his inner peace. He focused on what he could control: his thoughts, his reactions, his character. Fast forward to today. Think about the modern world. We're bombarded with messages telling us to be the best, to stand out, to be noticed. Social media, anyone? It's a constant comparison game. But here's where humility can save us. When you practice humility, you step off that exhausting treadmill. You stop comparing yourself to others because you understand that everyone's on their own journey, with their own struggles and triumphs. You learn to appreciate others without envy and to celebrate their successes as well as your own. Now, humility isn't about putting yourself down or being a doormat. It's about balance. It's knowing your worth without needing to shout it from the rooftops. It's being okay with letting others shine without feeling dimmed by their light. It's a quiet strength that doesn't need validation from the outside because it's already firmly rooted inside. And guess what? This kind of humility makes life a lot more enjoyable. You stop sweating the small stuff. You stop needing to be right all the time. You become more open to learning from others because you realize you don't have all the answers, and that's perfectly okay. You become more approachable, more likable even, because people can sense when someone is genuinely interested in them rather than just waiting for their turn to talk. So, how do you cultivate this humility Epictetus talked about? Start small. Practice listening more than you speak. Reflect on the things you can't control and learn to let them go. Remind yourself that everyone, including you, is a work in progress. Celebrate others' achievements without feeling threatened. And most importantly, be kind to yourself. Humility starts with self-acceptance. In the end, living as if nothing bothers you isn't about being indifferent or aloof. It's about cultivating an inner peace that comes from understanding and accepting your place in the grand scheme of things. It's about living with humility, not because you're less important, but because you understand that true strength comes from within. So next time life throws you a curveball, channel a bit of Epictetus. Embrace humility, and watch how much lighter and brighter your journey becomes. Principle number 8, guilt. Let's dive into guilt. It's that gnawing feeling we all get when we think we've messed up, right? Imagine you're carrying around this invisible backpack filled with all the times you think you've let yourself or others down. Heavy, huh? Well, Epictetus, our wise Stoic friend, has some ideas on how to lighten that load. First off, Epictetus would tell us that guilt is a natural part of being human. We all screw up, it's inevitable. But here's the thing. Guilt shouldn't be a permanent resident in your mind. It's more like an unwelcome guest who overstays their welcome. The trick is to acknowledge it, learn from it, and then show it the door. Easier said than done? Maybe. But stick with me here. Guilt often stems from a place of unmet expectations. Think about it. We set these super high standards for ourselves, sometimes impossibly high. When we fall short, boom, guilt hits us like a ton of bricks. Epictetus would argue that part of the problem is we're focusing too much on things outside our control. Did you mess up at work? Sure, maybe. But did you do your best? If yes, then you've done all you can. If not, well, now you know where to improve. It's not about beating yourself up, it's about learning and growing. One of the coolest things Epictetus teaches is the idea of control. He believed that we should focus on what we can control and let go of what we can't. Sounds simple, right? But it's a game changer. Picture this, you're at a party, and you accidentally spill a drink on someone. Embarrassing? Totally. But can you change what happened? Nope. What you can control is your response. Apologize, clean up, and move on. Dwelling on it won't undo the spill, it just keeps you stuck in a loop of guilt. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty of self-forgiveness. This is where the magic happens. Forgiving yourself isn't about giving yourself a free pass to mess up again. It's about acknowledging your humanity. You're not perfect. No one is. Epictetus would remind us that we're all in this together, making mistakes and learning as we go. Think of guilt as a signal that you've got something to work on. It's like a nudge from your conscience saying, hey, there's a lesson here. And here's another thought, guilt can sometimes be a bit of an ego trip. I know, it sounds weird, but hear me out. When we feel guilty, we're often placing ourselves at the center of the universe, thinking our mistakes are the end of the world. Epictetus would say, hold up. The world doesn't revolve around you. In other words, get some perspective. Everyone makes mistakes. Yours aren't as monumental as you might think. Take a deep breath, and cut yourself some slack. Also, it's important to talk about the role of time. Guilt loves to linger, doesn't it? It feeds on the past, dragging you back to moments you can't change. Epictetus would tell us to live in the present. The past is gone, the future is uncertain, but the present? That's where you have power. Focus on what you can do now, not on what you wish you could undo. And let's not forget the power of connection. Sometimes, sharing your feelings of guilt with a trusted friend or mentor can be incredibly liberating. Epictetus believed in the value of community and shared wisdom. When you open up, you often find that others have been there too. They can offer insights, support, and maybe even a different perspective that helps you move forward. In the end, living as if nothing bothers you, especially when it comes to guilt, is about embracing your imperfections. It's about understanding that mistakes are part of the human experience. Epictetus would have us see guilt not as a punishment but as a teacher. It's there to guide us, to help us grow, and ultimately, to help us become better versions of ourselves. So, take a page from Epictetus' book, let go of guilt, learn from it, and keep moving forward. Principle number 9, form alliances with winners. Let's dive into this idea of forming alliances with winners. You know, Epictetus wasn't messing around when he emphasized the importance of the people you surround yourself with. It's all about finding those winners, the folks who have their heads on straight, their eyes on the prize, and their hearts in the game. Let's chat about why this matters and how to make it happen. First off, think about the kind of energy you want in your life. Surrounding yourself with positive, motivated, and successful people is like plugging into a power source. Their vibes, their drive, their mindset, it's contagious. You can't help but absorb some of that zest for life. You start to see possibilities where you once saw roadblocks. It's like your brain gets rewired to focus on opportunities rather than obstacles. So, step 1 is to find those people who are winning at life in the ways that matter to you. But what does it mean to form an alliance? This isn't just about hanging out or networking. It's deeper. It's about building genuine relationships based on mutual respect, shared goals, and a common vision. These alliances are the backbone of your journey. When you hit a bump in the road, these winners are there to offer advice, lend a hand, or give you that much-needed pep talk. They see your potential, often before you even realize it yourself. Now, how do you find these winners? Look around you. They might be closer than you think. They're the ones who are consistent, who show up day after day, and who keep pushing forward despite the odds. Maybe it's a colleague who always seems to have their stuff together, or a friend who's turned their passion into a thriving business. It could even be someone you follow online whose content resonates with you deeply. Once you've identified these potential allies, it's time to make a connection. Reach out. Be genuine. Share your journey, your struggles, and your aspirations. Show interest in their stories too. People love to talk about their experiences, and you can learn a ton just by listening. Don't rush this process. Building real connections takes time. Be patient and authentic. Remember, this isn't about what you can get from them, it's about what you can give as well. Offer your support, your skills, your time. Be there for them as they are for you. This reciprocal exchange builds trust and strengthens your alliance. And let's be real, nobody likes a one-sided relationship. So, be a winner in your own right, someone they're happy to be allied with. These alliances will push you to grow. Winners don't let you stay in your comfort zone. They challenge you, inspire you, and sometimes even call you out on your excuses. And that's a good thing. It's how you evolve. They're the ones who will encourage you to take that leap, to pursue that wild dream, to keep going when you feel like giving up. Their belief in you can be the spark that reignites your own faith in yourself. You might be wondering, what if you're not a winner yet? That's okay. You don't have to be at the top of your game to start forming these alliances. What matters is your attitude and your willingness to grow. Winners recognize potential and are often willing to help those who show determination and a growth mindset. So, don't let self-doubt hold you back. Reach out, build those connections, and let their influence elevate you. In the end, forming alliances with winners is about creating a support system that propels you towards your goals. It's about surrounding yourself with people who lift you up, who make you better, who help you see the greatness within yourself. So, go out there, find your tribe of winners, and watch how your life transforms. Remember, as Epictetus would say, you have the power to choose your company. Choose wisely, and choose well. Principle number 10, never forget that your reactions form your destiny. You know that feeling when something doesn't go your way, and it feels like the whole world is against you? Yeah, we've all been there. But here's a nugget of wisdom from Epictetus: never forget that your reactions form your destiny. Sounds profound, right? But let's break it down a bit, because this simple idea has some powerful implications. First off, think about the last time something really irked you. Maybe it was an argument with a friend, a missed deadline, or even just getting stuck in traffic. In those moments, it's so easy to feel like a victim of circumstance. You know, like the universe is just out to get you. But what if I told you that the actual power lies not in the event itself, but in how you choose to respond? Picture this: two people are stuck in the same traffic jam. One is fuming, cursing under their breath, honking the horn like it's going to make the cars magically disappear. The other person, meanwhile, is chilling out, maybe listening to a podcast or some music, accepting that they'll get to their destination eventually. Same situation, totally different reactions. And those reactions? They set the tone for each person's day, maybe even their week. Epictetus believed that we can't control what happens to us, but we can control how we react to it. It's all about perspective. If you can keep your cool and maintain a positive outlook, even when things go sideways, you're not just surviving, you're thriving. This isn't about pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's about recognizing that your peace of mind is too valuable to be disrupted by every little hiccup. Take the traffic jam example. The person who chose to stay calm and listen to a podcast has made a conscious decision to react differently. They're not letting the traffic dictate their mood or their day. Instead, they're finding a way to turn a negative into a neutral, or even a positive, experience. That's a small but mighty shift. But let's get real, staying calm isn't always easy, especially when emotions are running high. It takes practice and a bit of patience with yourself. Imagine you're training for a marathon. You wouldn't expect to run 26 miles without any preparation, right? The same goes for mastering your reactions. Start small. Next time someone cuts you off in traffic, take a deep breath instead of yelling at them. When your coworker drops the ball on a project, pause and think before you react. One thing that helps is keeping a sense of humor about things. Life is full of absurdities, and sometimes, laughing at the chaos is the best medicine. You missed your boss? Maybe it's the universe's way of telling you to take a walk and clear your head. Spilled coffee on your shirt? Now you've got an excuse to rock that backup outfit you've been neglecting. Remember, it's not about suppressing your feelings or pretending everything's perfect. It's about acknowledging your emotions and then choosing a response that aligns with the kind of person you want to be. Do you want to be someone who's constantly stressed and reactive, or someone who rolls with the punches and keeps their cool? Epictetus knew that by mastering our reactions, we could shape our destiny. It's not some lofty, unattainable goal, it's a daily practice, a series of small choices that add up over time. Each time you choose calm over chaos, patience over frustration, you're building a better version of yourself. So next time life throws you a curveball, and it will take a moment to consider how you want to react. Your future self will thank you for it. And who knows? You might just find that living as if nothing bothers you isn't about ignoring life's challenges, but about facing them with a sense of peace and resilience. Now, that's a destiny worth shaping. Principle number 11, take control of your life. Next, let's dive into the idea of taking control of your life with some inspiration from Epictetus. Imagine you're steering a ship through a turbulent sea. The waves are crashing, the wind is howling, and it feels like everything is out of your control. But here's the kicker, you're still holding the wheel. That's right, even amidst the chaos, you've got the power to navigate your own course. Epictetus was all about this kind of control. He believed that while we can't dictate the external events of our lives, we have absolute power over our own actions and reactions. It's like being the captain of your own destiny. He'd say, it's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. So, let's break this down in a way that feels real and personal. First off, think about the daily grind. We all have those moments when things don't go as planned. Maybe you spilled coffee on your shirt right before a big meeting. Classic, right? Or perhaps you got stuck in traffic and missed an important appointment. These things happen, and they can easily throw us off balance. But here's where Epictetus would chime in, it's not the coffee or the traffic that's the problem. It's how we handle it. Taking control of your life starts with this mindset shift. Instead of getting frustrated or angry, recognize that these events are outside your control. You can't change them, but you can change your response. Smile, shrug it off, and move on. It's a small but powerful way to reclaim your peace of mind. Now, let's talk about bigger stuff. Life throws curveballs, job loss, breakups, health issues. These are the moments that truly test our resilience. Epictetus would encourage us to see these challenges as opportunities for growth. It's like a tough workout for your mind and spirit. You might not enjoy it in the moment, but it makes you stronger. Imagine you're facing a tough situation. Maybe you're dealing with a difficult boss or going through a rough patch in a relationship. Instead of feeling helpless, take a step back and ask yourself, what can I control here? Focus on your actions, your words, and your attitude. You can't control the other person, but you can control how you interact with them. Maybe it's setting boundaries, maybe it's finding a constructive way to express your feelings, or perhaps it's simply choosing to stay calm and not let their behavior affect you. It's not always easy. In fact, it can be downright hard. But the more you practice this mindset, the better you get at it. It's like building muscle. Start small, with those daily annoyances, and gradually work your way up to the bigger stuff. Over time, you'll find that you're not as easily rattled by the ups and downs of life. Another key aspect is self-awareness. Epictetus was big on knowing yourself. He believed that self-examination is crucial for personal growth. Take time to reflect on your actions and attitudes. Are you reacting out of habit or fear? Are you letting external events dictate your happiness? By being honest with yourself, you can identify areas where you can improve and take proactive steps to make those changes. Also, don't underestimate the power of gratitude. Even on the toughest days, there's always something to be thankful for. It might be something small, a kind word from a friend, a beautiful sunset, or even just a moment of quiet. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's wrong to what's right, and it can make a huge difference in your outlook on life. In the end, taking control of your life is about empowerment. It's about recognizing that while you can't control everything, you can control how you respond. It's about choosing to be the captain of your own ship, steering your course with intention and purpose. Epictetus's wisdom reminds us that true freedom comes from within, from mastering our own minds and hearts. So, next time life throws a curveball your way, channel your inner stoic. Take a deep breath, remind yourself that you've got this, and steer your ship through the storm. You'll come out the other side stronger, wiser, and more in control of your own destiny. Principle number 12, stop worrying about what is beyond your control. Imagine this, you're standing in the middle of a busy street. Cars zoom past, people hustle by, and you're just standing there, trying to control everything around you. Sounds exhausting, right? That's because it is. Epictetus, the wise old Stoic, knew this all too well. He said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." And that's the golden nugget right there. Think about it. Every day, we're bombarded with stuff that's completely out of our hands. The weather, other people's actions, the economy, the list goes on. Now, if you're anything like me, you've probably spent countless hours stewing over these things. I used to lie awake at night, my mind racing with worries about stuff I couldn't change. But then, I stumbled upon Stoicism, and it was like flipping a switch. Epictetus taught that our power lies in our response. Let that sink in for a moment. We can't control the storm, but we can control how we dance in the rain. Isn't that liberating? Instead of stressing over things that are out of our reach, we can focus on our reactions, our thoughts, and our actions. It's like playing a video game where you get to control the character, but not the entire game world. Here's a personal story. I used to get really worked up about traffic. Every morning, I'd curse under my breath, honking like a madman. My commute was a nightmare, and it set a lousy tone for the rest of my day. But then, I remembered Epictetus. I started practicing patience and acceptance. I'd listen to podcasts or audiobooks, transforming those frustrating hours into a time for learning and growth. Traffic didn't change, but I did. My stress levels dropped, and I started my days on a much better note. Another example? Social media. It's a minefield of opinions, drama, and negativity. I used to get sucked into arguments, trying to convince strangers to see things my way. Spoiler alert, it never worked. Eventually, I realized I couldn't control others' opinions, but I could control my engagement. So, I set boundaries, unfollowed toxic accounts, and focused on uplifting content. My online experience improved tenfold. The beauty of Epictetus's teaching is that it applies to every facet of life. Relationships, work, health, you name it. Take relationships, for instance. You can't control how others treat you, but you can control how you respond. If someone's being rude or dismissive, you don't have to react with anger. You can choose to stay calm, to walk away, or to address the issue constructively. This mindset shift can save you a lot of heartache. At work, maybe your boss is having a bad day and takes it out on you. You can't change their mood, but you can choose how you respond. Instead of getting defensive or stressed, you can maintain your composure and focus on what you can control: your work, your attitude, and your professionalism. Health is another big one. We can't always control what happens to our bodies. Illnesses and injuries happen. But we can control our lifestyle choices, our diet, our exercise routines, and our mindset. We can choose to be proactive about our health and to stay positive even when faced with challenges. In a nutshell, embracing what Epictetus teaches means giving up the futile fight to control the uncontrollable. It means redirecting that energy towards what we can actually influence. It's about reclaiming our peace of mind and living more freely. So next time you find yourself worrying about something beyond your control, pause. Take a deep breath. And remember, it's not the situation that matters, but how you choose to respond. Thank you for watching today's video on the 12 principles to live as if nothing bothers you, inspired by the timeless wisdom of Epictetus. I hope these Stoic principles provide you with the tools to navigate life's challenges with a calm and resilient mindset. If you found value in this content, please hit that like button and share it with others who might benefit. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon so you never miss out on more Stoic insights and practical wisdom. Have any thoughts or questions? Drop a comment below. I love hearing from you and engaging in meaningful discussions. Remember, the journey to a Stoic life is a continuous process. Keep practicing, stay mindful, and embrace each moment with equanimity. Until next time, stay strong, stay serene, and live with purpose. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.